So you're moving abroad and you're wondering, uh-oh, how am I going to make money? Today I'm going to talk about 7 different businesses that you can start. But these businesses today I'm going to focus on are businesses that will not only help you get your visa or your residency requirements fulfilled, but they will be focusing totally on the expat community. There's so many different businesses you can start. When I started my first business when I was living in Nigeria, I focused on human resources because that was what I knew. Those are the skills that I have. I didn't focus on the expat community. I focused totally on small to medium enterprises. So today I want to talk to you about how you can start a business, and that business could be just focus on the needs and the supporting of the expat community in your local market. The first business I want you to think about is senior and assisted living services. Absolutely. Look around. Look at all the retirees that are relocating. I don't know what country you're going to, Panama or Thailand or Colombia, wherever you're going, Portugal. I bet you there is a large expat retiree community. And when you get there, think about this. How many of them are going to be able to take care of themselves solely in the next 10 to 15 years? Oh, yeah, they arrived in that country with lots of strength. They have money. Yeah, they got their pension, their social security, but eventually their health is going to start deteriorating. And you know something? Their family members are far away. They're going to need someone to care for them. Most of them will not repatriate to their home country. They will stay there. Why? Because the cost of living is less, because the cost of care is going to be less. And you can be the answer to that. You can be the answer by having home care services. You can be the answer to that by setting up your own assisted living facility. You could even be the bridge of communication when every time they have to go to the doctor, you can go with them, report that information back to their family abroad. So you could be the communication person. You can be the person that would go with them for meal checks. I'm sorry, for wellness checks. You can be the person that helps them make doctor's appointments and assistant. There's so many different things that you could do by serving the senior community. Think about how technology has really come and boomed. How many of them are really going to follow the trends and all the different apps and all the things that they need? Did I say them? That's probably us, right? So think about that, how you can even be a companion, how you can have a companion service. Now, everything I just shared with you is not necessarily you doing all of it. It is you hiring people. And that is how you also get your road to a visa. But let's talk about just really briefly about different kinds of visas. There's an investment visa if you invest in a country, but there's also a visa where if you start a business. And so this could be how you get your residency. Just check it out for the country that you want to live in, because countries love when you come in and employ their staff. They love the fact that you're pouring money into their country, not taking money out of their country. So that is one of the things. I look around and I see how many seniors are here. I think about when I was living in Nigeria, how many of their children are living abroad? They sent their children to school abroad and they didn't come back. That is the same thing in Latin America. That's the same thing across the continent of Africa. That's the same thing you'll see in Asia and China. But people have sent their children to the US to go to school, and those children did not return. Now those parents are elderly. Or you also will see this also with expats, right? So expats have come and now their children are still in the United States. Who's going to care for them? You. That is why that's a great business. Another great business I always say is cleaning services. Everyone loves their home to be clean. And so when you're cleaning services, you can do it 2 ways. You can do it for domestic or you can do it for commercial. Now let's talk about what's happening in the market. The cleaning services, I know you're like, I'm not going to be anybody's cleaner. But you know what? You don't have to clean. You can own the business. It doesn't sound like a glamorous business, but it is a very profitable business. You can do it 2 ways. Yes, you could do commercial businesses, but think about all the expats that are living there that are so happy to have someone clean their homes at an affordable rate. Because think the country that you're moving to, probably the domestic staff is a lot less, right? The cost of hiring people is a lot less. And so therefore, you can now outsource those people to other people's houses to do the cleaning at an affordable rate. So expats will love it. The other thing is how many people have vacation homes, Airbnbs that are there, depending on what market you're in. Why not you be the cleaning service to those Airbnbs, to those vacation homes? So there's so many things that you can do with a cleaning service. Serve the serve the expat community who has Airbnbs, serve investors who have Airbnbs, or serve investors who perhaps maybe also have businesses that are there that they're not able to make sure that they're staying up to par, bringing your cleaning services. So don't get all upset like, oh my gosh, that's so boring. I want something more exciting. The deposits will be exciting. Going to the bank, that's where you're going to get your excitement. The other business I want you to think about is staffing services, right? And this can come from everywhere. This is one of the businesses that I ran. It was very successful. I love doing this business because it took the formal market and the informal market and brought it all together. And so this could be, remember I talked about cleaning services, right? Now, what about if you were hiring maids? What if you I don't know what country you're going to, but domestic staff, you can either be providing services for maids, but perhaps maybe you can even be a property manager. Look around and see how many investors in your market. When I look at the Panamanian market, half those apartments that are being leased or being Airbnb, those are by foreign investors. I wonder if you could be a property manager. Think about being a virtual assistant. How many people need some support? You could actually start with the people, depending on what language that they speak and what language you speak. How about hiring a virtual assistant? You can hire people in that country. You could be running that business and they can be servicing business owners in other countries. What about childcare? Everybody always needs childcare. So think about how the people who come from the United States, we're going back to the expat community, may need childcare, right? Because they want someone that they can trust. Maybe their children haven't even learned the language yet. And so now you have a childcare center and you're able to take care of the children. They feel really safe with you because not only are you an American, but you speak English just like they do. And so they feel that their child is in a safe environment. So there's so many things that you can do, but with the recruiting and staffing services, you can recruit from so many different areas and you can also employ people out. So you can have it as that you're just recruiting and you can also do outsourcing. So the outsourcing comes with the property managers, the childcare centers, the cleaning. That could be an outsourcing business for you. Bilingual assistance could be something also that you hire people for or outsource. So as people come in, they don't understand the language, you can have a whole staff who are bilingual and you can help them to go on doctor's appointments, immigration appointments, anything, sometimes even just shopping, right? So these are some things that you could do. So let's also talk about other ways that you can help businesses. How about maybe some of the skills that you have, you can lend them to small businesses. A lot of times, businesses have not necessarily built the structures that they need, and you have all that information. So maybe you were a great marketing person in your organization. How can you bring that to a small business that is in that country? So think about some of those formalized informal markets that you can help formalize and also help that with even. I see this all the time with banking information. People are always asking, how do I bring money from the US to whatever their country is? I remember years ago when when we would send money to Nigeria, literally there was no formal way of doing it. There was no Western Union. There was no transfer money wiring to the bank. I mean, it was just wow. It was literally, you knew somebody who was going to that country. You would give them US dollars. They knew someone who was coming to the US. They would, send the money back. I mean, it was just wild. And so these are kind of things that you can use. People are still, putting money under their mattress. So how could you find a way with technology or some kind of way of formalizing some of the informal markets that are in that business, that is in that country? So those are things that you want to think about. Another thing, you can relocation services, and relocation services is not just taking people from there to, right? So there's several different stages of relocation. There's before, helping people get prepped up to relocate. There's helping them to relocate, there's shipping, they're moving, identifying their country, and then there's the post. Once they arrive, how do they settle in? That could be another business that you could do. How do getting people to settle in their first 90 days, helping them to get their electricity, their internet turned on, helping them to identify where the supermarkets are, helping to clear their items that are coming through customs. Those are some of the things that you can do, helping them finalize their visas if they didn't get it. So there's 3 stages into relocating. What stage could you fit in? Where would your skills fit in? Helping them identify schools, helping them find jobs for their partners, depending on how they came in, or their spouses. So those are some different things. And then another business, meal prep. If you're a great cook, you love cooking, everybody misses their home meals. And so this is something that you can also do. Now, there's several ways you can do this, right? You can do this as meal prep, where you're just going over to someone's house, or you're hiring people and you're cooking the favorite home cooked meals. I always see people asking, like, where can I get collard greens? People are always looking for their home cooked meals. And so that's another thing that you can consider doing. You can do meal preps where you're just doing it in your house and you're dropping it off, or you could actually do a full cooked meals and you're just making deliveries, like a catering service as well. That's something you can do that for business professionals, retirees, people who are single, who are living alone. They want someone to be able to cook for them. And then also think about this. You're giving them American meals, right? And you're like, well, they can make American meals. Sometimes they don't know where to get the ingredients. And if you are doing this in bulk, you can bring in some of the ingredients and be able to really give them the taste of home. And also perhaps maybe you can even get some local dishes into your menus as well. That's another thing. Another business I want you to think about is secondhand business. And the secondhand business can go side by side with a downsizing business. And you can do this in 2 locations. You can help people downsize their homes while they're in the United States and help them understand what they can bring. And you can do that from wherever you are. And then you can also have like a secondhand shop. A lot of times when people get there, especially when you hear people say, I sold everything, they have to buy new things. If you had a secondhand shop where they can go and buy some new things for their home, and they're secondhand things. But think about this. A lot of times we ship things and we just put everything in a container, or we put all these things. And once we get to our home, we realize we don't need those things. I'm one to tell you, I got more vases than I could ever do with. I had more bathroom rugs that I could ever use, because the house that I moved out of, we had like 4 bathrooms, but where I live now, I don't have as many bathrooms. So I was giving away bathroom rugs. I was giving away toilet paper holders. I was giving away, I didn't give away my vases yet. So I had so many things. I have shoe racks all packed up. So what if I had a place I could just take them, and that someone could resell them because someone else may be looking for them. They forgot to put those in their bag or whatever, they didn't need it. Or they just look for furniture. They're looking for furniture. Maybe you have too much furniture now that you move, because our houses were big. A lot of us came out of 5,000, 8,000 square foot homes, and we're not living in houses that big anymore because we're downsizing, but we didn't know how to get rid of that furniture. So you might have bought the love seat, the couch, and the chair, and all you really need is a love seat. So now you can put that in a secondhand store. That's why that would be really a great business, helping people identify how to downsize. A lot of people don't know how to downsize smartly because we don't know how to get rid of some of the things. We're so attached to them. So that could be also a business. Another business idea I want to share with you is about community. Remember, expats are coming. A lot of people, a lot of things I hear is, I don't know, I'm afraid of being lonely. I don't know how I'm going to meet people. You could be that people. I see people with this business, especially in Panama. They've been really successful. I would just name 2 groups if you're coming to Panama, if you want to tap into them butlers and the BEI, the Black expats in Panama. They have events all the time, and that brings expats together. And so that's something that you can start in your country. You can start it either as being social. You can start it as being business. Maybe you do a book club, something that you can do where you're bringing community get together. You can do language classes. You can have you can do events. Whatever your passion is around community and events, that could be a business that solely is focusing on the expat. There's another group I just remembered in Panama called Panama Experiences, and they solely basically are focusing on expats, and they're just tours every single week. They're taking people all across the country, everywhere from cooking classes to photography classes to even how to use WhatsApp better. So there are so many different things that you can do. The business ideas I gave you today, most of them are relying on what? You saying yes to yourself that I can do something different. Some of them will require a lot of capital, like assistant living if you wanted to open a facility, and some of them will require little to no capital as you're talking about recruiting or healthcare workers or starting communities. The big thing is you got to start. And the awesome thing is, any one of these businesses could be your ticket to residency because perhaps maybe you're not in a category right now that could get you a visa. Maybe you're not a digital nomad or maybe you're not a retiree, but that could be your way of getting your residency and your visa. So let me know, what business do you think you're going to start as you move abroad? I'm Sable, your bougie girlfriend. I want you to continue to live an elevated life. I just gave you 7 ways that you could.